Today I'm going to look at two more EBL flashlights. These ones range from about $8 to $18 on Amazon Canada, and they use different rechargeable batteries. Some have got some unique features that I haven't seen on any others. Let's take a look at these ones. On today's most excellent video, we're going to look at two more flashlights by EBL. These ones came from Amazon. The first one is the model S004, and the second one is the model S008. These are basic flashlights. They're not a tactical light. They're not going to throw a light beam, a couple hundred feet. These are basic flashlights. Let's take a look at the two of them, and we'll compare some of the features of them. These ones here they're claimed as waterproof, but they are not to be submerged. So they're kind of like the other EBL that this one here. This is the more of a tactical light, this one. And yeah, this one's a great light. It's got a good throw on it. These ones here are not anywhere near the same type of intensity that this one is, but I think they're still very good, and the price on these ones is much less than something like this. So let's take a look at both of these lights. So the S004 flashlight has specifications of lumens is 280 to 350 through the different power levels on it. Again, it's waterproof, as they say, but they say do not soak it in water. And well, we know the reason why, because it's not going to be waterproof like this one. I'm not going to throw this one in water just because I know what's going to happen. It's going to fill with water. So we'll tell you that right up front. Don't put it in water. It's fine to use out in the rain. It does have seals on it, but it's not one that's designed to be waterproof. Uses a single 18650 cell. Got some 18650s here we can put in this one. Drop your 18650 in. And you've got a flashlight. And when you turn it on, it has the different modes, SOS mode, and it's you just turn it off and on to cycle. So you got power, on one power level, a dimmer mode, a third power down, which is dimmer still, and you can actually see a bit of strobing on here on the camera. Then it's the flash strobe mode, and then it's SOS. When you first turn the flashlight on, it will be on full power. Turn it off, turn it back on, it's on medium power, turn it off, back on, low power, turn it off. I'm just seeing if it'll reset. It should be in strobe mode now, which it is. So every time you cycle the power switch, it's going to change modes. That's the way this one operates. It's a basic light. I'll point it at the wall and we'll take a look at the throw on this one, and then we're going to look at the other one. Again, these ones are going to be pretty straightforward because these are just basic flashlights. There's nothing fancy. I'll compare it to this one so you can see the difference in the power and the throw. I'm just going to point it at the wall. We'll take it outside as well in the dark. I'll just take it out into my backyard, as I don't need to go up to the park for this. It's not a long range one, but we'll certainly be able to compare it to the likes of this one, which is, well, there's no comparison. So here's the light on the wall. As you can see, it's I'm about 12 feet away, and it's giving a circle of, well, that's an 8 by 11 sheet of paper that chart is printed on. So the circle of light is about 12 inches there at 10 feet. It's not a super bright light. Is it enough to see what you're doing? Yes, but it's not a tactical light. By comparison, if I compare it to the other EBL, you can see the difference in the brightness of them. There's no comparison. The other tactical light is much stronger, although it's nothing compared to some of the other ones that I've looked at. There it is. There's full brightness on this one. So as you can see, there's really no comparison in terms of the light output between this little one and the last EBL that I reviewed. Quite the difference in terms of brightness. You can see it right there on the wall. So that's the S004. Let's look at the other one. So we'll now look at the EBL S008. It's a little bit more money than the other one, but it's got a lot of features that I haven't found on any of the other tactical type lights that I've reviewed. And I've seen quite a few, and this one's got some unique features on it. One thing you'll notice about it is the size of this light. This light is huge, but check this out. This one has a, where is it here? It's got a zoom, so you can change the size of the beam. It's also got a copper heat sink around the LED there, which should help keep the LED cool. But one thing I've noticed about this one that I haven't noticed about any of the other ones is the type of batteries that you can use in this light. You see, it comes with a battery holder that you can put 3 double or triple A size alkaline batteries in, and then that fits into this battery holder, which then would fit into the back of the flashlight. So that's one power source that you can use on this. The second power source that you can use is if you take this battery holder out of this tube, you can put an 18650 cell into this tube. That's an adapter for an 18650. Slide that in and screw on the base, and you've got a nice bright flashlight. Now, if I shine this one on the wall, you'll see what this one does. Well, I can show you down here. Right? You can zoom it right in. It's a square, and then it goes into a large circle. So this one here is really quite nice. I like this because it's a bright light, and you can have a really wide beam, but it's very sharp. It's a sharp beam. Look at the shadows, right? So it's a very sharp beam. It's like a spotlight, or you can make it a very tight focused beam. Now, in addition to the 18650, what makes this one unique is it can also use a larger 26650 cell. So I have a 26650 cell here. Of course, going to the larger cell will give you a much longer running time on the flashlight. So if we take out the 18650 and its adapter, we can put a 26650 cell right into the base. And of course, it'll make the flashlight a little bit heavier, but the run time on a 26650 is going to be much longer than the run time on an 18650, because power-wise, this 18650 I've got here is rated at 3000 milliamp hours, and the other one I think is, let's see what this one's rated at. This one's, well, this one's 4300, but you can get a 5000 26650. So this was 4300 milliamps versus 3000. So it's going to last considerably longer in the flashlight. Let's take a look at the specifications for this light. According to the specifications, the power consumption, this is a 10 watt light versus the other one being a 5 watt. This one's a 5 watt light. 10 watt light, it says the lumens, 800 to 1200 lumens, depending on the power setting. Its waterproof level is IP65, so meaning it's dust and splash proof, but don't drop it in a tub of water or it's going to leak. We know that. And you can adjust the focus by just adjusting the lens. As you can see, makes it a very, oh, messing with my camera. Power level, it's done the same way. You just cycle it. It's got high, medium, and low, strobe, and SOS. So we'll first look at the S04. There's the S04's light level. And now we'll add the, this is the zoom light. This is the 08. As you can see how much wider the beam is, actually covers the entire wall. If I were to zoom the flashlight, or zoom the camera all the way out, that lights up the entire wall. It's quite a wide beam, but if I zoom it in, I can take it down to a very small square that is actually quite bright. It's actually blowing out the camera. It's so bright, but if I zoom the camera in a bit, it'll probably handle this a bit better. But to go down to a square, again, I'm about 10 feet away, and that's pretty much eliminating that 8 by 10 or 8 by 11 sheet of paper. Zoom it out, it'll cover the whole wall. So by comparison, even when it's zoomed in, it's brighter than the other light. The EBL S004, if we take off the reflector, oh, we can't. The reflector is actually part of the head. The lens doesn't unscrew. I was going to try and take this apart so we could see how it was made, but it's an aluminum tube. There's the battery in this side. It does have an O-ring on here, but the driver itself is all pressed in to the head, so there's no way to actually unscrew the head and take a look at the reflector. Again, this is a budget flashlight, right? These ones are relatively inexpensive. I think like $5, something like that. This one here, does this one come apart? I don't think this one even comes apart. The whole top comes off, but again, it's going to be like the other one. It's just going to be the battery inside here. The actual lens itself, I don't think, oh, the lens does come apart on this one. Interesting, I can take off the lens here. And there it is. There's the, I think it's a Cree. Did I say it was a Cree? What's it say here? It's got a, yeah, it's a Cree. It's a Cree LED on this one in a copper type heatsink. So if I screw this thing on, you'll be able to turn the light on. You'll be able to see the diode itself without the lens in place. So, and that's very much like the light it gives off with the lens pushed all the way in. Here's the convex lens that focuses the light. Here I am out in the backyard now, and as you can see, it's totally dark. There's no light out here at all. Here's the small, the S004, and it's got its 3 brightness levels. As you can see, it provides a relatively small spot. It's a relatively concentrated beam, but not a real powerful unit. We'll put the 008 on next. Start that in full power. So here's the 008 in the widest beam pattern. This is the one that can be zoomed. I'm going to put the other light down here for a minute. So this is the widest beam pattern, and as you can see, it throws a relatively wide beam. It can light up my entire backyard all at once. Really nice wide fill. Actually, this is quite impressive for, you know, a wide area in close. This is really good, but it has the ability that you can focus it down and make it brighter and more concentrated. There's the beam when it's in its most magnified position. You can actually see, I can actually see the beam itself. I don't know if that's showing up on camera or not, but the beam itself is actually pretty darn good, but it's a very concentrated beam. But the nice thing about this light, and again, it's not an expensive light, is that you've got that ability to adjust it for the circumstances. You can see everything, or you can zoom it in and just see the distant objects. Let's zoom this in on the neighbor's house. Now if I zoom the light in, I can zoom the light right down onto my neighbor's house and light up the corner of the house. Don't have to worry. It's my relative's house, so I don't have to worry about them being upset. I know they're not home. But as you can see, it's quite the beam. If I zoom the camera in, It's quite a powerful beam. Very nice. And other than that, it lights up the whole area. If I pan up to the trees, for example, light everything up. Now, by comparison, I'm going to put the other EBL light that I tested in the prior video. And again, this one's a much brighter torch, but again, it's a more concentrated beam. If I put the two of them side by side, I think you can see which one actually has the most throw now. Although in its fully concentrated mode, there is no fill light at all. It's just a square, very concentrated beam, and there's very little spill. Whereas the other one, you've got a bright cone, but it's got spill light around, so you can see everything around you, but you still get the sharp focus in the middle. Whereas this one, in zoom mode, you don't. So you've got that option, wide or telephoto. The other light, you've got your telephoto, but you've still got your fill light. You can see the tree, for example. If I go to this one, if I'm in zoom mode, you don't see the tree. You just see specifically what the light is pointed at. But you can bring it back, so you've got a variable zoom on the throw, so you can set it anywhere. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You've got the long throw for seeing stuff in the distance, and then you've got the wide capability and any stop in between. That's a look at these three lights. That's this one here. This is the EBL with I forget the model number, but I'll put a link to it. I'll put a link to all three of these ones for the Amazon link for these three lights. Thanks for watching.